Hello, namaste. Today we are going to talk about management, what it means, what managers do, who are managers. So, manager is someone who works with and through other people by coordinating their work activities in order to accomplish organizational goals. This is as per Robbins and others. They gave the definition in 2006. And there are first line managers, there are middle managers, there are top level managers, and below the first line managers you can say there are non managerial employees. And what are the managerial concerns? Managerial concerns are efficiency and effectiveness. So management is actually interested in doing things right, which is like efficiency. It is a quantitative measure, it is a ratio between input and output, or you can say getting the most output for the least input. So, maximize output with the minimum input, but right kind of input, right quality of input. Otherwise, it would not give you the right kind of output. So, for that, effectiveness is important. That is doing the right things. Work effective, you know, is effective. Work activities that attain organizational goals as a whole. So management refers to the process of coordinating and integrating work activities so that they are completed efficiently and effectively with and through other people. And the process refers to the ongoing functions or primary activities engaged in by managers. Coordinating others' work activities is what distinguishes a manager's job from a non managerial one. So, as I said, efficiency is a ratio of input and output, and the goal of which is to minimize resource cost. And effectiveness is completing activities so that organization goals are attained, often described as doing the right things. So, this is the major concern of the managers. There are three ways or approaches to describe what do managers do. One is management functions. The second one is management roles given by Mintzberg. And the third is the management skills. So, what are the management functions? Like we say, planning, organizing, directing, staffing, controlling, or we can say planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. And coordination is considered to be the essence of management. Then, if we see Mintzberg, managerial roles or management roles approach, then there are three broad categories. One is interpersonal roles, wherein figurehead, leader, liaison are the three main important aspects. Under informational roles, monitor, disseminator, spokesperson, and under decisional roles, entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator, negotiator. In the late 1960s, Henry Mintzberg conducted a precise study of managers at work. He concluded that managers perform these 10 different but highly interrelated management roles. As I mentioned to you, these roles are interpersonal, informational roles, and decisional roles. And there have been follow-up studies of Mintzberg role categories in different types of organizations and at different managerial levels within organizations that have generally supported the notion that managers perform similar roles. However, the more traditional functions have not been invalidated. In fact, the functional approach still represents the most useful way of classifying the manager's jobs, as I mentioned to you earlier. So, what is a figurehead? Under the interpersonal role, it is like a symbolic head required to perform a number of routine duties of a legal or social nature. Like generally, we say the president of a company is the figurehead, and he is required to perform a number of routine duties and represent the organization at different places. For a country like India or Bharat, we have the president of India, and for a university, the president of India is the visitor of the university. Then there is chancellor, then there is vice chancellor. Vice chancellor is like CEO of the university, like prime minister is the CEO of the government to be run, and president of India is the or Bharat is the figurehead there. So there could be difference between who is the symbolic head and who actually is, on the job to make things happen on a day-to-day basis on a 365 days a year, kind of 24 by 7. Leader is the second interpersonal role, who is responsible for the motivation and direction of employees. So it is not that only one person is supposed to be the leader, like for a government, Prime Minister Modi is the kind of a CEO, but that doesn't mean that there would not be other ministers. So there would be ministers in the government. Similarly, the vice chancellor of the university is like the CEO, but that doesn't mean that there are no other people who are supposed to lead. So there is like pro vice chancellor, dean of colleges, director South Campus in University of Delhi, and other people are there, heads and deans of different departments and faculties are there. So leadership is not only at one particular position in an organization, who is the CEO of the organization, but at every level there are responsibilities which are assigned, and each one is the person who is responsible for ensuring that there is motivation and proper direction among employees, the vision of the organization, whether it is a company or a university or a government, and the employees are moving in one direction, and they are working towards attaining the common goals of a company or organization or the government as a whole for a country or a nation. Third interpersonal role is the liaison role. Some people call it liaison. Maintains a network of outside contacts who provide favors and information. So this is also important. So for a company, like there are suppliers, there are customers, there are other stakeholders for a company. So each entity, like for a university, there is University Grants Commission, National Assessment and Accreditation Council, National uh, Institutional Ranking Framework, NIRF, and there are other regulatory bodies depending on what a university is dealing with, like Bar Council of India and all that. So every organization, every entity, whether it is a company or an education institution or a bank or anything for that matter, everybody has to have some network of outside contacts. Even for students, actually, if you see, yourself. You have to liaison with those companies who are supposed to come to the campus if you want a job after this, or if you want to become an entrepreneur. They need to connect with people who can provide funds for a new venture, angel investors and things like that. So whatever you want to do in life in future, you have to start listening from now. And you consider yourself as an organization, then you have to play the role of a figurehead also, you have to play the role of a leader also, you have to play the role of a liaison officer as well. So you have to see these managerial roles not only in terms of the organization, but in your own life as well. Then informational roles like monitor receives wide variety of information, serves as nerve center of internal and external information of the organization. Like there are some spokesperson for a political party, like for University of Delhi, registrar is generally considered to be the custodian of all information and a signatory signing authority. And he is supposed to be the person who is supposed to give information to the outside world, and every information that is notified is with the signature of the registrar of the university. So like you send an email, it is an authentic information to the people. People can rely on that, particularly if it is sent through your official email id. Even students get official email id wherein it is written after that at the rate of commerce.du.ac.in for Department of Commerce, Delhi School of Economics students. So a monitor is supposed to take care of these aspects, and you as an individual also, it is important that you have these three informational roles even while you are student in the department. A role of a monitor, disseminator, or spokesperson, wherever you are, you have to play these roles. Even in a family, we have these roles, like who speaks if somebody from outside comes, who has to give information. Disseminator is transmits information received from outsiders or from other employees to members of the organization. If somebody sends an information from outside, it has to be given to all. Like for you students, there is a group. If it is sent to one person in the group or your class representative, he is supposed to send to all others. And then there are committees that you have. So if a company would like to interact with one email id only, so they will send email to only one person at a given point of time. But then it is your responsibility to disseminate that information to all others if some company is coming for placement talks and things like that, or pre-placement talk. And spokesperson, as I said earlier, transmits information to outsiders on organizational plans, policies, actions, and results, serves as expert on organizations industry, on that particular industry, which it is. So this is adapted from the book called The Nature of Managerial Work by Henry Mintzberg in 1973. It is there from that book which Pearson has published. So these are informational roles. And the most important or decisional roles for which managerials are known is called the third aspect of it, where there are four kind of roles. Entrepreneur is the first one. Search organization and its environment for opportunities and initiatives, projects to bring about change. And there is a concept of entrepreneur also in an organization, and everybody is supposed to take this responsibility and scan the environment about what things are to be changed in the organization. Like even in the classroom, what changes we should bring in the classroom so that it becomes more engaging to the students, they are more involved, and the outcomes of the teaching learning process is actually achieved. You can also initiate dialogue about that and bring those changes in the classroom itself. It should be considered as your classroom or your class, not the class of the teacher. You have to drive the class in which way you want the class to be run. And if there is any disturbance that happens, then you have to act as disturbance handler also. So A manager is supposed to be responsible for corrective action when organization faces important unexpected disturbances. So, as a CR, generally we see that you are responsible for taking, or ensuring that teacher is there in the classroom, all students are there, and so on and so forth. So, similarly, in an organization, also, if there is any problem that is faced, then a manager is supposed to take care of and immediately take corrective action to resolve that issue. You can't say somebody will come and solve the problem. Particularly, it becomes important when you are like on in the border security force, or in the military or army. You have to take immediate action, like when Pakistan was sending missiles and drones and all that. It was immediate action which was taken by the defense forces of India, so that they can ensure that nothing comes inside the territory of Bharat, India, which can damage the property or life in India. So similarly, what defense forces take care of, safeguarding the interest of the country. Same way you have to handle in an organization if there is any problem. Like if you're driving a car, if somebody comes in front of you, immediately put the brake there. So you have to put the motion into stagnant position, still position. You bring that car to stop. So same way, a disturbance is to be cleared out at the earliest possible. How much is the minimum time to resolve the disturbance which has erupted in an organization? Then there is resource allocator, makes or approves significant organizational decisions. So as like you have committees, you organize different events while you are students. So we say this MBA is not only about your studying, you are also doing on the job training. You organize conventions, seminars, and so many other activities you organize, and you have full power for autonomy to do that. You raise the funds, allocate those funds, how it is to be utilized, you share it with people, you take people along. So resource allocator is another very important decisional role as a manager, whether in the organization or as a student manager. You are student managers at the moment, those who are doing MBA or whosoever is listening this. Each one of us is a resource allocator, also a disturbance handler, also an entrepreneur, also. Don't think it is for someone else. And you have to negotiate also. You have to be responsible for representing the organization at major negotiations. Like you see, Bharat is negotiating with countries like Russia, with UK. We have signed free trade agreement treaty, and there are so many levels at which government of India negotiates with so many countries. And you have to take a call on that. You have to be judgmental. You have to take proper judgment in every situation, which is like in the case of crisis we saw that COVID-19 crisis, which happened, a similar kind of crisis happened 100 years ago. So how the governments negotiated and ensured that India develops vaccine, instead of one, Bharat developed two vaccines. And then it was not only given to the people in India to be vaccinated free of cost for such large population. It's a great thing to be decided upon, but lives of people can't be negotiated with. So people, putting people as the first concern, prime responsibility of the government to save the lives of people. So money was not considered as important, and not only life of our own citizens, but it was considered important that the life of everybody on the planet, Vasudev Kutumbakam, as we say, that was evident during COVID-19 period. And similarly, when we organized G20, we proved that Vasudev Kutumbakam is still from ancient ages. We are following that particular thought, and we practice that one world, one one earth, one family, one future, we said. And we also included everyone in the country to become part of this particular initiative. So, as a manager, whether you are running the government or you are running an organization or you have your own startup or own organization, you are an entrepreneur or you are an entrepreneur, you have to have, or you are just a manager, you have to have all these managerial roles in your life. You can't skip on any one of these, and you have to always prove yourself worthy of your position that you occupy in an organization. So I wish you good luck to become good managers in life. Whosoever is listening this, you start imbibing these qualities which are required to perform these different roles and become excellent managers of the future, also to meet the requirements of industry 4.0, which we are running right now, the time of artificial intelligence and machine learning that we are into, not only for now but for the future requirements of industry 5.0. You become worthy of that and drive the change, drive the transformation which is required to build organizations in terms of both efficiency and effectiveness. Become a transformational change agent in the organization that you intend to work for or you are working right now. Thank you very much. Best of luck to all of you.